and obviously the staff members are still attempting not to cause them any harm or leave marks on them if they're trying to protect themselves, but the service user patient is actively trying to cause devastating injuries to the staff.
A conversation that we've had before, and I think it'd be interesting for everybody, is you said to me that there's two rule books that are in play when we're providing care or services. One for the staff and one for the patient, the child, the service user. Do you want to explain that?
Yeah, it's just a theory that I've got from looking at, and from delivering training, obviously working operationally with yourself, is that we as staff members promote and operate in a way that doesn't cause pain, doesn't cause harm, and again, the techniques we're teaching are non-painful and non-damaging. And however, some of the settings that we work in have people who do have mental capacity and are very capable and intentional with their attempts to harm staff, and obviously the staff members are still attempting not to cause them any harm or leave marks on them if they're trying to protect themselves, but the service user patient is actively trying to cause devastating injuries to the staff. Obviously, this is not the case in every setting, but if we take some examples, there's obviously that type of example. We could say nightclub security encouraged to not use painful techniques, yet they will have people obviously in nightclubs trying to hit them with bottles, etc., trying to stab them. Go take it to the prison service, which I'm sure you'll be able to sort of expand upon as well. Exactly the same sort of situation there, very capable, intentional, potentially malicious individuals trying to harm the staff. And also, let's say an A&E, a hospital A&E, which in an acute setting, where the staff, they don't know who's walking through the door and what they're capable of. Yet all the staff, all the training we promote is to be as gentle as possible, not to harm the person, which is obviously a good thing ethically, morally wise, but it's almost like me saying, right, I'm going to attack you. I have full capacity, I'm quite capable, I'm going to use both my hands to punch you and I'm going to be able to kick you, but you are only allowed to use your left arm. You can't punch, you just have to push away. And then we've got to say, what's the likelihood of the staff member, obviously you in this case, surviving that situation with just those techniques and with that rule book? On the flip side, obviously, we've got the fact that there might be 4 or 5 staff members versus that one person, which then allows them to adopt less damaging, less painful techniques. I know we've spoken about this. What do you think?
I think that's where the value of training comes in. Because, there are them 2 rule books, definitely. And from my background in the prison service, I've seen it, prisoners who want to get off a landing, they might be in debt, they might think that they're under threat. And obviously, if it's a pattern of behaviour that's happened before, we might want to try to encourage them to stay in place so that they can manage their socio-economic sort of stability in that setting. But when they feel they're at risk, they will then turn and assault the staff because the staff have to play by the rules. If they hit a staff member, yes, all right, they might get restrained, they might be handcuffed, they might be relocated to the segregation unit or the care and separation unit, but they're not going to get the same treatment as if they assault another prisoner who might pull a weapon on them, might stab them. 6 of their mates might intervene, where it then becomes a really high-level assault. I've seen broken bones, broken eye sockets, lost teeth, horrific wounds. So, yeah, there's definitely 2 different rule books, like you say, and I think that's where we come in as educators, as trainers, as experts, and say to the staff, this is about reasonable force. Yes, we don't want to intentionally cause physical harm. We don't want to intentionally apply pain. But there may be situations where we have to, because it's A, necessary, absolutely necessary, and B, proportionate to the seriousness of the circumstances. But where people have that lack of understanding, I think that it can put them at risk. Because you either get the ones that are reticent, they're hesitant about what they do because they don't know what to do, and that's when that harm happens, or they overestimate the situation, they become reckless, and they put themselves and others at risk in both situations.